The Great New Motivator.
Is the NBA Storyteller.
Who controls NBA 2K can control the... First thing we have to do is recognize how prevalent petty is. How petty is in our world. And then the fact that petty isn't petty. Petty is just the world we live in. Petty is just when one person thinks something is too small to care about, but you really care about it. Is that petty? Is this petty? Who's it petty to? Is it petty to the person who cares? Okay, with that, let's jump into this. Remember how petty people are and how much people care about the little things. And it really is all mind control. Who controls NBA 2K can control the NBA. Let me walk you there. Okay, this isn't my main expertise here, but there's one aspect of this that I am fluent in, and that is mind control. I've been under mind control for years, so I know a few things about this. Okay, I'll take a step back to frame this up. Some of the greatest Michael Jordan stories involve Jordan exacting revenge on some poor soul. These days, we call people like that trolls. And of course, the biggest troll moment in the history of mankind, other than our current president, when Jordan personally invited the then kid who took the varsity spot over him in high school. The kid who is now a grown-up and just over here trying to survive and support a family, he invited him to his Hall of Fame induction, just to make sure nobody forgot where he was and where he was.
And then there's Leroy Smith. Now you gotta think that's a myth. Leroy Smith was a guy, when I got cut, he made the team, on the varsity team, and he's here tonight. He's still the same 6'7" guy. He's not any bigger. His game is about the same. But he started the whole process with me, because when he made the team and I didn't, I wanted to prove not just to Leroy Smith, not just to myself, but to the coach who actually picked Leroy over me. I wanted to make sure you understood you made a mistake, dude.
This poor man. Okay, so like I said, Jordan's career was based on personal slights, innocuous and indiscriminate disrespect, long-term revenge plots. A quick backtrack here. You know, the whole cut from the team story, it's not that simple. I'm not sure how many different times you've heard this story about Michael Jordan getting cut from the varsity team in high school. It's not that simple. The way it's been portrayed in even this brand spanking new commercial.
You want to know the secret to victory? Fail to make the varsity team.
They are rolling that story out again. They are dragging this thing, beating this dead horse that was never even a horse. I mean, good Lord, this guy is still selling this made-up disrespect. And this by no means is the first time they've monetized this particular story. Back in 2009, Nike went all in on this motivational commercial here, starring Charlie Murphy as Leroy Smith.
Shazam! Introducing Get Your Basketball On with me, Leroy Smith, the world's most influential influence on Michael Jordan ever. After I beat out MJ for the last spot on our varsity team.
Good grief, I hope to the Lord Leroy is getting a cut of this somehow. This is an American tragedy if this guy is not making a dime. Somebody, please make a 8-part documentary on this American crime if Leroy Smith is not making any money off of this tale. Jesus, Jordan, just get over it. Okay, at the heart of the story is that he was cut from the varsity team, and the next year he came back and made the varsity team. You know what else happened between those 2 years? He grew 6 inches. You think that had something to do with it? It's like if your cousin Bob tried out for the Charlotte Hornets and got cut, and for the rest of his life he held that against the Charlotte Hornets. Well, you know what, Bob? You drive a truck. You were never going to make the team. But you know what? Then Bob grew 12 inches the next summer and became Superman. You know what? You can make the team now. That was a weird side note. Okay, back to my point. These stories, true, half true, or completely made up, are legend now. And we know that's how Jordan would get his temperature up before games, motivated by the naysayers and the doubters.
And then you had all your media naysayers. Oh, scoring champion can't win an NBA title, or you're not as good as Magic Johnson, you're not as good as Larry Bird. You're good, but you're not as good as those guys. I had to listen to all this. You look for any kind of messages that people may say or do to get you motivated to play the game of basketball at the highest level.
And this is a consistent theme in the narrative of all athletes. Whether you're Draymond Green and you remember every single player who was drafted before you.
Number 1, Anthony Davis. Number 2, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Number 3, Brad Bill. Number 4, Deion Waiters.
Whether you got traded by one team and you want to prove to that team that you were worth it. Whatever it is, man. Like, people take personal attacks and turn them into motivation when it comes to sports.
Yeah, 33 was Bernard James and 34 was Jay Crawford.
The media loves that. I mean, that's where we got the good old-fashioned phrase, the completely out-of-date phrase, bulletin board material.
So I told our team, don't get them any bulletin board material.
Old folks love talking about bulletin board material. That's where you take the clippings from newspapers and whatnot, where other people talk crap about you. You put it up on your bulletin board, and apparently that's going to motivate your team. Don't give them bulletin board material, right?
So I'm about to go on this press conference, and I'm going to get them all the bulletin board material they need.
Okay, all right, whatever, Draymond. Okay, back to 2K. After watching a surprising amount of players react, quote, react to their new NBA 2K rating, I was hit with a giant bolt of duh. Double side note. Do you really think it's a surprise? I mean, most of these guys, this actual video here, most of these guys are on set for an actual 2K commercial shoot.
So we're out here shooting for NBA 2K behind the scenes.
Do you think they're really just finding out their rating now? On camera? I mean, the fact that they're even on set right now means that there was weeks of negotiations with agents and pay and all this stuff and royalties and rights and whatever it is. There were weeks of negotiations with this just to get them here on set.
We're here behind the scenes for the NBA 2K.
And you don't think they ever discussed what the rating would be? Okay, this is not a surprise. You don't think that agents across America are lobbying 2K all year long to make sure a player doesn't dip below 90? And listen, this is the Wild West right now for stuff like this. It's like the old pay-to-play payola days of radio. You know, slip a tape and a bill under a door and bam, you're on the radio now. There are no rules behind this yet, so I'm almost certain as a spectator can be, that money is flowing in one direction here. And then there's Mike Stauffer, who said that along with their system and programs and spreadsheets and all that junk, there's a healthy dose of how they think it should feel. They tweak stuff, but you know, these are the little open, porous spots where manipulation can be fit in, where money can be fit in. And guys that were 86s end up 88s. Folks who were 91s edge up to 92. Maybe it's in the attributes. Maybe it's some small little attribute. Now, obviously, they can't do anything egregious, but anything that seems off, well, it probably is. And I know 2K claims it has a system, and it also claims that it's kind of overhauled its whole formula. But if you think the score is based on meritocracy, based on solely numbers and algorithms and not on politics and favoritism, well, tell that to Kyrie, who automatically assumes a better score based on him being a cover athlete. And also because, well, duh.
I think my rating should be, if we add in a few factors, cover athlete, then I should at least be like a 95 plus. At least.
I mean, I know he's joking here, but is he really joking? Completely? Really? You know Kyrie takes this personally. These guys, they all take this personally. Even to the point where Hassan Whiteside says this in a post-game interview.
What inspired you today?
I got great teammates and just come out and just try to get a win every night. I'm just trying to really get my NBA 2K rating up.
I think you did just that.
And guess what? His rating went from 59 to 77 after this. Listen, the league is all about ego, pride, leverage, mental edge, dominance, and strategy. And for folks not to take advantage of this, it would simply be uncivilized of us. And with that in mind, we really need to figure out something about this guy, Mike Stauffer, this character, Mike. First of all, I can't find much about this guy after around 2015, which is about when they did their ratings overhaul. After then, it seems like he's pretty much uncovered, meaning that nobody's covering him. And since he's basically gone dark except for a Twitter account, which only has 12,000 followers, this guy sure seems to be staying out of the spotlight, or just maybe he's meek by nature. I don't know. Because I would love to know how large this guy is living. Is he well-paid game developer rich? Or is it more of a Russian oligarch mansion with a fortune off the books rich? If it's number 2, then we should assume there's something going on here, some pay to play, pay to rate. going on here. Because he's the man. He is the man in the position to take advantage of this. And I am the one late to the game here. He's known this. And if you can't tell by just a few of these tweets, this gentleman seems to be a stone cold, not just Cavs fan, Indians fan, but a God-blessed Kyrie Irving super fan. Here's a little insert I'm dropping in here. I even attempted to reach out to Mike on Twitter, and I received no reply, but we attempted here. We make attempts here in our skewed reality. Okay, this is obviously all dumb, but what's equally as dumb is how personally players take their ratings. In the second you see a top-level professional athlete expose themselves and show the world what they really care about,
your rating is an 89.
89. Then you need to pounce. Snatch that from them, manipulate it, and hold it over their heads until they do what you want or perform how you want. Mike Tyson knew it.
I keep my eyes on him, I keep my eyes on him, I keep my eyes on him. Then once I see a chink in his armor, boom, and one of his eyes may move, and then I know I have him. And then when he comes to the center of the ring, he still looks at me with his piercing look, and as if he's not afraid, but he already made that mistake when he looked down for that 1/10 of a second. I know I had him. He'll fight hard for the first 2 or 3 rounds, but I know I already broke his spirit.
Eee, that's a scary dude. And again, you may say, hey, guy, you're being silly. This is just fun. These guys are just having fun. Well, you know what? The All-Star Game was just a silly, fun idea a long time ago. This whole league was a silly, fun idea a long time ago. But now we're talking about billions upon billions of worldwide dollars. Every ounce of influence and control that anyone has over anybody or any entity in this league shall be exploited. And listen, I know some of this is happening. I'm sure players talk trash on court all the time about people's ratings and scores, but I don't think this has made its way up the chain, up the ladder into the coaches and GM's greasy little palms. And though it may seem that I'm not pro player here, as I'm asking for the overlords to manipulate the psyche of their players, so, okay, here is my advice to the players. Act like you don't care, even if you do, just like you do in your post-game pressers with everything else. Just say you don't care. Say it doesn't really matter to you, or you didn't even know. Say it's just a fun game and it's nice, but you're trying to win games out here. Because really, you look weak. You look soft. And somebody out there is waiting to use this newfound weak spot against you. Don't give people the power over you, because just as Jordan taught us, as soon as a player shows their vulnerable soft spot, you jam your little finger 3 knuckles deep into it and make them your puppet, your very own flesh puppet.
You can actually play him like a puppet.
And back here on Earth, this is just simply an observation that there's a new power source in the NBA. What was once just a game is now a culture. 2K, it's not new, but the attention, the concern is new. It's not just one loser player trying to get his ratings up. This is becoming a mainstay, a pillar of the summer. And it's only going to deepen. And everyone around this process, from the game makers to the team owners, if they haven't already, are going to scramble to make this work for them somehow. Whether it's an award, all-star selection, this new era of analytics, it's all about quantifying and recognizing who is good and who is not, who is on top and who is not. And this has become a new age hierarchy. And even with a new age system, all the old infrastructure and politics, gamesmanship and manipulation come along with it. So look for these manipulations in the years to come, in the weeks to come. Look for teams and GMs and organizations to try and pounce on this and figure out how to make this work for them.
This is the NBA Storyteller.
Okay, so you've established that people care about this stuff. You say how? Why? How is this actually going to matter? Listen, I have a whole separate video on the 8 ways that GMs and coaches and organizations and even players can take advantage of these numbers, these new statistics, these new ratings, and how much it matters to people, from putting them up on bulletin boards and baking it into your contract, all these kind of crazy things, right? But I'm not going to spend 8 to 17 minutes dealing with that, when all I'm trying to show here is that there's a new power structure in the actual NBA.